Hello and welcome to this video introducing the tin whistle. I'm doing these videos to support the 2023 St. Louis Chenal. I'll be teaching basic whistle there. This is a generation. I'll also be showing you around with some conical bore instruments. I'm trying to keep these instruments high enough so that you can actually see them in the video. I'm getting used to this camera. Let's talk about the parts of a whistle. To start with, the tube is also known as a tone body. I like that expression. And we have 6 holes on it. When all the holes are covered, we get the bell note, which is the note that the entire tube makes when they're blown through the whistle. And then each time we open up a note below, it effectively shortens the tube, so we get higher notes shortening the tube. When we go up to the second octave, it's the same principle, but we're blowing a little harder and making some other changes so that the frequency effectively doubles in the tube. This is the fipple head. These are all fipple flutes, so they have some means of splitting an air column when we blow through it. This is the beak, and in the beak you can see the windway, which is this little opening, which leads, when we look through the window, to the blade, which splits the air column, half of which goes down into the instrument, producing the pitch, and half of it goes out into the air. So, that's the parts of the instrument, and here's how I hold it. Left hand on top. For most of us, that's the best. Let's try 3 fingers. I cover with the pads of my fingers rather than the tips. Most of us do that and keep the fingers relatively flat, relaxed. My top hand will go up a little bit. My thumb is a little bit to the hand side of the center of the back. So I'm not squeezing directly, I'm supporting it from the side. And my opposite hand, which isn't playing any holes right now, is doing the same thing. This thumb is a little bit to the side of the tube, not right on the back. And you can use your baby finger to support it below. If your baby finger doesn't reach, then when you get to the top notes, you can use your bottom finger like that. So to blow, I put the beak in my mouth, just in the lips. I don't bite on it, because you don't need to if you're doing this. And if you don't bite on it, that gives you the most flexibility with being able to change the tone. And we just blow. You're looking for a nice steady tone there. You don't want to overblow. And you don't want to underblow. So you have to learn the instrument. How much air does it take to get a nice clear note? If you're like me or my age, you're going to have a little tremolo in there. I kind of like that. But you want that steady tone. So let's try that now, going up the scale. Right now I'm not tonguing at all, but we do generally tend to tongue, and the way we do it is to make a silent D with the tongue. So when you make a D, the tip of the tongue strikes the front of the hard palate just before the teeth and makes a soft starting sound. Like that. And we're not doing a staccato thing in general, so not this. You may have been taught something like that on an instrument, but we're trying to do more of a steady tone with the little articulations there. We call that legato. So let's try that going down the scale from here to here. Not surprisingly, we have Mary Had a Little Lamb there. So you're already playing a tune. Now let's go down the scale a bit more. So same thing with the other fingers. I slant this hand a little bit. Just find your own comfort level and use the pads to cover. This note on all whistles is what we call a weak note. It doesn't sound quite as easily in either octave as some of the other notes. Always a little bit softer, and you have to adjust your breathing so that it doesn't squeak over much. All whistles are prone to clogging. To clear them, cover the window, blow through it, and then blow through the window. And that'll open it up. So, going up the scale from the bottom note, tonguing. Now this note can be intimidating if you don't have your thumbs a little bit to the side. And again, if your baby finger is not the right length to come down on that barrel, use this finger to stabilize it. Most whistles don't make any difference in the sound covering that bottom note. So we have done the basic scale of the D whistle up to, but not including, the second D. So we're going to go up to the high D now. I have all the fingers down. I'm blowing a little bit harder, but the sound is not the greatest. If I vent it by opening this top finger, all of a sudden it's clear. So for most whistles, to make the second octave, we vent here. So you can practice or when we go to the next note, because from there on you have to close this top hole. Now there will be times where if I'm playing really fast, I won't vent that D. But anytime I'm going to hold that note or I'm playing a slower tune, I'll have that vent note open. Let's talk a little bit about the oral cavity. When I'm playing the low notes, as I go down, I try to open up as much as I can here. I'm going to exaggerate how I do it. I'm actually opening my mouth a little bit more and making an O sound to support that bell note. With some of the better whistles, this makes a real difference. As I go up, I'm compressing the oral cavity and I'm beginning to make more of an A sound. And when I get up high, that's an E sound to get that clear. So we'll talk about how to get into the notes later, but getting those notes clear makes a real difference in your playing and is a lot more satisfying. So we've talked about that. With the next video, I will introduce you to a tune and we'll use a different whistle. Thanks.